afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, developers and all participants here. As you may know, my name is Davi. I'm from the FDO. I think my of you have had lunch. Some maybe wait until the end of the presentation. Thank you for valuation. And may I ask you, how was your lunch? Good? Acceptable? Eatable? Okay, could I ask you, all your belongings are on your side, on the seat? Or could you please drop down a bit? I may have something for you. Could you just stand up a little bit to warm up yourself after you eat? Stand up, please. Sorry. And have a deep breath, like 5 seconds. In and out, in and out. Relax, close your eyes. And say, oh, I'm so relaxed. And say, And then, please raise your hand up. Straight like this. Down, up. And say, relax. Okay. Then give me like one clap, please. Together. No, one clap. Not yet. 1, 2. No. Again. 1, 2. Okay, do it again. 1, 2, 3 claps. Again. 1 clap. 2 claps. 3 claps. 100 claps. Alright, thank you for participating. Alright, now it's serious time, but not so serious. Anyway, as you may be aware of the first presentation did by James, and you know that the housing development project as well as our real estate sectors seem to grow up a lot in Cambodia, especially in 2018. As I read the news yesterday, the news released from Ministry of Land Management, it's like the real estate sector seem to grow a lot, especially on the construction. Currently, there are 228 projects on the growth, and mostly 65 to 75% of such projects are all resided by the owners. So this is like a share a little bit to you about the information from the Ministry of Land Management. And this is I read from the Let's Make Cambodia News. Alright, getting to the point. So today I'm going to give you to share with you with the legal framework on the regulation on housing development project called the Real Estate Developer License. Okay. So before we go in detail, let me introduce our firm. So DFDL is an international law firm. It was established firstly in 1994 in La Pia, and then in 1995 it was established in Cambodia, and then in Myanmar, of course, in the same year, and then in 2005 in Thailand, and then go ahead with 2006 in Vietnam, together with 2011 in Bangladesh and in Indonesia, and of course 2015 we have the office in the Philippines, but we work collaborating with the law firm there. And again, just to let you know that in Cambodia we are working closely and commercially cooperated with Southern and Associates, a local law firm registered with the Bar Association in Cambodia. And here our office. We have 12 offices throughout South Asia and South Asia. And we have of course we are located in 8 countries with 145 legal and tax advisors and consultants. In case you have the investment in Thailand, you can go and then talk to us, or in Myanmar or Vietnam, just communicate with us and then we can assist you according to what you need. And what are our areas? We are having expertise in banking, finance, corporate and merger and acquisition, employment, energy, mining and infrastructure, and of course real estate and construction, plus taxation. And most of our advisors can speak Chinese, not most, but we have China desk, we have Indian desk, we have Japan desk, France desk, and Singapore desk. So, especially now we notice that most investors are from China, so in case that you'd like to talk to us, come, and then we have the Chinese speaker advisor or a consultant to assist you. Thank you. And now we go to our topics. So today I'm going to give you some ideas about the housing development management business regulations. So first, we're going to talk about the Prakas 965 on housing development business management, and we go a licensing requirement under such Prakas. Of course, sale purchase transaction restriction. When you have the condo or villas, how can you do with the same purchase transaction? Is there any restriction? We will explain to you in this seminar. Obligations of the developer, dispute resolution mechanism, and the penalties. So, the overview of the Prakas 965. The main objective and goal of this Prakas, issued by the Ministry of Economy and Finance, of course, is to set up a mechanism and rule for the housing development management, control of the housing development business, to enhance the effectiveness of the management and inspection of the housing development business itself, and of course, to prevent any financial risk and curbing money laundering activity. And last but not least is equity and balance of the interest. Actually, before 2016, there was one Prakas called Prakas number 1222, and this one after seeing the development of housing development management, the ministry have issued this new Prakas 965 to nullify the previous one, and this one seems to be very detailed and impose a lot of penalties in case that you operate any housing development business without any requirement under such Prakas. The main provision in this Prakas is to classify the housing development license and application requirement for such license. Business security deposit. Why do we have to have the business security deposit? And of course, in the Prakas, also talk about the sale purchase transaction restriction, advertising restriction, obligation of the developer, dispute resolution, and the penalties. What are the requirements under this Prakas? I will go through for you. So here, there are two types of housing development license. In Khmer, we call Anyaban Achona. In case that you want to develop a condo, a villa, or any flats, starting from 4 flats, 3 villas, and 4 units of the co-owned building, you must obtain the housing development license. And in this Prakas, there are two types of license. The first license, we call it license type 1. Second license, we call it housing development license type 2. So what are the difference between license type 1 and type 2? So type 1, of course, there's some characteristics of this. The type 1 is refer to the license of the project with this finance. The finance of this project is owned by the capital of the developer or by any loan. And of course, you have to complete all the construction before you start with the sale, which means that you plan to build a condo, you have to complete all the construction, obtain the closing permit of such construction, and then you start the sale. If you sell during the construction, is another type of the license that you have to obtain. That is called housing development license type 2. And of course, this is very common for most of the investors. Why? Because they can have their own capital or loan from any other banks or financial institutions or collect the money from the buyers. And then you can start the sale during your construction. You don't need to wait until you complete everything. Of course, your condo is gonna be like 100 stories, 50 stories, for instance. You cannot complete like within some periods of time. You cannot complete within a month. So you can still start the sale during this construction, and then we call it pre-sale. And the license fee for this kind of project, of course, in case that you want to construct a flats for your project, you have to apply for the license, and the license fee is $25 per flat. And the estimate amount here, just only the kind of roughly estimate, the amount will be determined by the Ministry of Economy and Finance by Reals, the Cambodian currencies. For ease of understanding, I just put in US dollars. $1 equals 4,000 reals. That's what it is. And this is for your estimate amount only. And in case you construct the villas for your project, you have to pay $25 per villa for the twin villa. The single villa is $50 per villa. And construction of core buildings, when you have the unit, starting with 1 or 2 bedrooms, the fee is $25 per unit. In case you have like 3 bedrooms per unit, of course the fee is $50 per unit. To make it easy for you to remember, it's just the fee is $25 or $50. Easy. Okay? I speak too fast or easy to follow? Okay? Thank you. Alright, so what are the requirements for the license application? So firstly, you have to set up a company. Before, the old Prakas doesn't clearly state whether you have to have the company or you can like do it by your own self or individually. But right now, under the new Prakas, although it has been issued since 2016, but it's still new for me, you must have the company. You register the company with the Ministry of Commerce. What's going on? And then, of course, the capital that you have to register, at least you must have like 500,000 US dollars. Just the estimate amount. The real amount is 2 billion reals. And you must have the housing development account, especially required for the housing development license type 2. And the amount is 2% of the total investment capital or by period. Here, like, you have like 3 phases of development. And your total capital for the whole project is $1 million, for instance. But you divide into 3 phases, and then you start the first project in 2018, and the other 2 in another 2020 or 25. So the 20% you can also do it with the 2018 investment capital. You don't need to do with the whole investment capital of the whole project. And you must have the business plan, very detailed business plan, according to your whole project or the period of the project. And the representative of the license, I mean, we call it inclined natural or like someone whose name or whose picture is on the license must be a chairman in the company. And during construction, you have to have the construction site license, we call it insurance policy. You must obtain it from any licensed insurance company. And this is very special for housing development license too, as I said earlier, again, 2% deposit of the amount of the total capital investment. And this one, you have to deposit in a single account of the National Bank of Cambodia or any local commercial bank. And you have to open a separate HD account. And this HD account will be under regular monitoring by the Ministry of Economy and Finance. And what do we do with the business security deposit? Most of the investors are very concerned about this business deposit because normally when you want to invest something, you want the money to shoot into your project. You don't want the money to remain somewhere else. So because of the requirement, you have to at least take 2% of your total investment. For example, $1 million, 2% of $1 million must be placed in the account of, we call it deposit, the business security deposit account. And how to calculate such business security deposit, 2% of the total investment capital. You can do it by way of like land value or any construction cost, plus investment amount and associated costs like staff or anything that you use to improve your project. And how, and again, of course, when you have to place the 2% deposit in the bank or any other local commercial bank. And sometimes you feel, how can I get the 2% into the account? How can I ask the bank to issue me the letter that you have the 2% available in the account, and then you cannot touch. I discussed unofficially with the Ministry of Economy and Finance official. You can do by way of bank guarantee to obtain it from any commercial bank in Cambodia. You don't need to put the money. I mean, you can discuss with the bank in Cambodia how to issue you a bank guarantee to confirm that you have funds available in case of any problem. And how to withdraw it. When your money stays somewhere, you have to get it back. So how to get it back? Of course, you have to write a letter to the ministry to request to withdraw. And there are some requirements to get it. Completion of your construction, report on the completion of construction, and you have to obtain a letter of closing of the construction permit. We call it closing permit. And this one needs to be issued by the Ministry of Land Management. I make it short. Actually, the full name of land management is of the ministry is Ministry of Land Management, Urban Planning, Construction, and Construction. And of course, you have to have an assessment from the Ministry of Economy and Finance expert to confirm that you have the right to withdraw the 2% deposit from such account. Okay, here the sale and purchase transaction restriction. Being the developer and being the buyers need to be very concerned. How can I purchase something properly, legally? And being a developer, how can I draft the same purchase agreement properly and legally? Of course, here are the minimum requirements. So under Article 19 of the Prakas, especially our HDL1, Housing Development Type 1, before you start the sale, you have to have a model home or unit. If you are the owner of the villa or villa project, you must have your own villa sample. Or if you are the owner of the condo, own building, you must have your own sample unit. And then, of course, you have to obtain a closing permit, an assessment by the Ministry of Economy and Finance expert to confirm that you have the right to sell. If you sell without such model home or unit, you are subject to penalty. According the penalties amount is specified under the Prakas 965. The same thing, HDL2 or Housing Development Type 2. Of course, you must have a model home or unit, construction permit, and authorization from the Ministry of Economy and Finance. If you are the buyer, you want to buy one condo or any kind of project or villa, you see that this kind of project is legal or not. You have to visit their site whether they have this kind of thing or not, especially on the model home or unit. Do you notice this one or not? Like Penalties, when I go and I want to buy a villa in Penalties, I see that they have their own model home. This is very nice. It's good because the thing is, we can see the real thing happen. We don't want to buy something in the air. In Khmer, like sell things down. Right. So these are the tip for you as a buyer, and it's also the tip for the developers to make sure that your project is legal. And the maximum deposit, of course, for HDL1, not required because you're gonna do it after everything is completed. But HDL2, as I said earlier, maximum deposit of the amount that you can get from the sale is only 1% of the total purchase price. So for instance, like one condo, a unit of condo costs 100,000 US dollars. So 1% of such amount you can only obtain from the buyer while you are waiting for the construction permit to be issued by the ministry. You cannot get over than 1%. Otherwise, otherwise it is illegal because you have not obtained the construction permit yet. And this amount needs to be deposited in the HB account, which is a housing development account, which is an independent account. As being the developer, you have to have such account, and then when you collect the money, the money from the buyer you cannot place in any other account, only the housing development account. And this account, of course, will be controlled and not controlled by you, but monitored by the Ministry of Economy and Finance through your reports to the ministry. So again, only 1%. Information to be stated in the SPA or sale purchase agreement. Of course, you have to state buyer and seller's name and detail of the land information. If you buy the land or if you buy the villas or condo or flat house and there's nothing about land information, it's not really good enough for you to enter into such agreement because you don't know where the location is. And purchase price, the right and obligation, payment condition, in case of late payment, what's going on. In case that they don't do anything, especially the developer, what's going on. And you must see that any other HDA account specified in the SPNR, tax and processing fee, who's gonna bear the cost when starting the registration of the ownership over the title, over the unit or the villa, project completion date, when will the project be completed, and of course the construction permit reference. Advertising, of course, under Article 16 and 17, it is prohibited for any project yet to obtain a license from MEF, from the Ministry of Economy and Finance. You can go around and ask people, developer, hey, have you obtained the license yet? Before you start selling or before you start advertising. If they don't have it, question mark. So under this Prakas, give you a lot of tips to get the correct and legal developer and legal project. So before any advertising, the developer must obtain the license, either license 1 or license 2. And required for information in the advertising tip or flyers, of course, the location of the place, location of the project, name of the project, price, date of commencement and completion, and of course the certificate of title. Why? Certificate of title confirm that the project is the real owner or the real lessor, in case that it is a freehold or in case of it is a leasehold land. In Khmer we call it mandai, whether ជួលរយៈពេលវែងឬក៏បានកម្មសិទ្ធិ whether it is a certificate of title or it is a long-term certificate. So these are the things very important for you to see in the advertising flyers or tips. So how do you feel from the beginning until this middle of this presentation? A bit informative, cautious, better, confident? Informative, okay. And obligation, me and the developers, of course, to declare the status of the land, whether it's freehold or leasehold. You know leasehold and freehold? Anyone understand this word? Can you answer to me? What is leasehold and what is freehold? Can anyone tell me? No? Okay. So, yeah?
ជួលមានរយៈពេលកំណត់
Yes. And
freehold នឹងជួលអត់កំណត់ freehold.
Okay. Freehold means like ownership, unlimited, exclusive, indefinite. And leasehold, there's some limitation of time, whether 15 years, 50 years. Because under the law, there are two types of lease, whether it's long-term lease or short-term lease. If it is long-term lease, the term will be starting from 15 to 50 years. But short-term lease is less than 15, between 14 and 11 months or something. This is called short-term lease. So if you have the house, you want to enter into the lease, consider it whether you want to enter into a short-term lease or a long-term lease. It's the same thing. You are the developer and you are the foreigner. Under the law, foreigner cannot own the land except for the condo starting from the first floor. So again, foreigner cannot own the land, but they can own condo starting from the first floor, not the ground floor. So if you are a foreigner, you are a developer, you don't want to cooperate with Cambodian local partner or something, you lease the land from the local partner. But you can do it by way of entering into the long-term lease starting from 15 years to 50 years and subject to renewable. Okay? For further information, talk to me about lease and ownership arrangement. Okay. Thank you, Mr. I don't know his name, but later on maybe there's some more activity in the room. Okay, and of course, the obligation of the developer have to be responsible for construction of the sold house. Of course, it's clear. Comply with the same purchase agreement, SPA, and to submit a report on a regular basis to the Ministry of Economy and Finance after you obtain the license. And here are the things that the developer have to do. Submit, firstly, the money reports. Here, the money report on the progress of the construction. Money report on the cash movement in the HDA account, as I said earlier, especially for the Housing Development License 2. Money report on same purchase by the project, both 1 and 2, license type 1 and type 2. Hence, to have settled such dispute, and the period of time is 2 months. And then when the problem is solved, of course, a mutual agreement signed by both parties, and there's an immediate effect. And in case that anything that has been decided by the Ministry of Economy and Finance and you are not happy, you can file a complaint to the legal department of the Ministry of Economy and Finance and then settle within 90 days. And then the department will issue a decision. In case any problem that you're still not happy, you can go to the court of Cambodia. This is the very interesting provision, the penalties. So at the moment, we have discussed housing development type 1 and type. How many types of housing development license? Anyone can answer me? How many types? Say it, Mister. How many types of license? You. Can you tell me? The type.
Oh, 2.
Oh, very good.
Sorry, I didn't know you were looking at me. Sorry.
There are so many people. So there are 2 types of
You know you're
license.
so popular.
Thank you. And of course, these are the violations declared in the Prakas for you to understand in case that you do something which is not proper according to Prakas. For instance, if you operate the project like co-building project, villas or flat house development without any license, under Article 41 of the Prakas 965, you are subject to a fine, estimately $25,000 per case. Such a lot of money per case. In case you are repeating, it's gonna be multiplied. And then, housing development type 2, you launch and operate account beside the HD account to receive money from the buyers and do the money in this account in contrary to the purpose of constructing the project. Of course, you are subject to a fine of $22,500 per case. Quite serious. And under Article 49, if the developer that construct a house or any kind of projects exceeding the number specified in the license, you are subject to $500 per quantity. For instance, under the license, you could only construct 450 units, and then you construct more than that, like 1,000 units. So something that is exceeded will be subject to a fine, and this amount is around $500 per unit, for instance. Again, commercial advertising. If your commercial advertising tips or flyers, you start doing it, and then you start doing the advertising without the license, without minimum legal commercial requirement, as I said earlier, for some misleading commercial advertising. Of course, here's the fine, $200 per day. So anyone who started the advertising without having the license, please consider this provision. And of course, sale without complete project, especially HBL1, also you are subject to the fine as well. SPA without legal information and minimum information under the Prakas, the fine is also here. Sale without model home. I have my own project. Yeah, I just do the same. I don't construct anything. I don't have any sample condo. I don't have any sample house. It's not the same. Of course, the penalty here. Be cautious about that. Just only see the advertising, prepare a very nice website, prepare a very nice booth, and then do the advertising while you don't have any actual model homes. You are subject to a fine. And if you fail to submit your report and absent a valid site insurance policy, and of course absent a valid certificate of business security deposit, as I said earlier, which is very important, you are subject to a fine around $125 per day. In case of any reputation, let's multiply of the amount. And again, withdrawal of business security deposit without authorization from ministry, you are subject to 2 times of deposit amount penalty. And of course, in case you are violated with Article 39, including operating without license, fraudulent license, or using expired license, failure to purchase a site insurance or whatever, for instance, as stated here, the ministry have the right to freeze your HDA account, ban operation or restriction of the number of duty, temporary suspension of business, and revocation of license in public dissemination of the breach, which means that your name on any other public media or whatever has been spread out throughout Cambodia, and then your project not really good at all. Okay, here are the cautious things that you have to be aware, and that's all. Thank you so much for your attention. Okay.